Have you ever wondered what truly lurks in the shadows of the night? Horror stories are more than just tales of hauntings. They're a profound reflection of our deepest fears and curiosities. The Mountain Deity and Other Apparitions isn't just a title but an invitation to dive into a world where reality intertwines with the supernatural, and where every road may reveal secrets we never dreamed of discovering. You may think you're safe, driving under the moonlight, but what if something, or someone, is lurking, waiting to challenge your beliefs? These legends, often dismissed as mere fiction, carry the essence of the unknown, and there's a reason they capture our attention and ignite our imagination. Throughout this video, we will explore stories that defy common sense and question logic, unveiling supernatural interventions and enigmatic apparitions that can't be ignored. Prepare to confront fear, feel the adrenaline surge, and perhaps reconsider what you deem impossible. After all, what would life be without a touch of mystery and a hint of terror? On a cold night illuminated only by the full moon, a female figure floated on the deserted road. Her long hair, drifting in the wind, created a disturbing image that left anyone in shock. It was impossible not to feel a chill watching her, an apparition seemingly from another dimension, bringing a deathly silence with her. The sight was somewhere between real and supernatural, a perfect horror scene staged under the moon's silver light. Those who crossed her path would never forget her almost ethereal presence. As the woman floated, her eyes seemed to stare into the souls of onlookers, though unfocused, as if seeing beyond human capability. Some say she emitted a faint glow, maybe from the moon, or perhaps her own aura, something both intriguing and terrifying. Every movement she made, however slight, was like an invitation to delve into a dark, answerless mystery. Even the most skeptical found reason to question their certainties, as logic seemed out of place with this mysterious entity's presence. And what was she seeking on that road, after all? Those who got closer, even unwillingly, felt a growing tension, a terror that escalated by the second. Some tried to avert their gaze, but curiosity was always stronger. There was something hypnotic about this apparition, as if she carried a forgotten message or an ancient lament echoing in the night's shadows. The road became a corridor of uncertainties, where legends seemed to materialize, challenging the safety that reason brings. Theories and rumors about who she was or where she came from spread, creating chilling stories for those daring enough to listen. Some claimed that the woman was looking for someone or something, her melancholic expression hinting at deep pain. Perhaps she was a lost soul, a victim of past tragedies, trapped in an endless loop of her own suffering. Passing by on the road, people wondered if they should pray, run, or simply accept her presence as part of the world's mysteries. The floating woman soon became a local legend, a dark secret that few dared to investigate. Yet the question lingered. What did she want? Why did she always appear on that road? However, there was something no one could ever explain. The feeling that, upon crossing her path, a piece of their own soul was left behind, as if she took a part of whoever saw her. The stories were never the same, but everyone agreed on the sense of loss, of having witnessed something beyond human comprehension. And while many avoided the road after nightfall, others were drawn to the possibility of meeting the floating woman. The search for the inexplicable continues, and the legend lives on. Waiting for the next curious soul or skeptic brave enough to confront the unknown, the horror universe reaches new depths with exclusive episodes on Amazon Music, where the unknown takes center stage in sinister tales and dark rituals. Here, listeners are led into a world where fear assumes new forms. Exploring narratives that cross the borders of the supernatural, each episode seems to unearth hidden secrets, stories of apparitions, and unsettling encounters that challenge the courage of those who dare to listen. It's an irresistible invitation for horror fans, offering a way to push personal limits and face the inexplicable up close. The soundtrack and sound effects immerse listeners in a unique sensory experience, where each noise, every whisper seems to come to life. The atmosphere created puts listeners on high alert, as if terror lies waiting in every dark corner of their minds. Forgotten rituals and strange figures are unearthed, presenting content that plays with the psyche, touching that deep-rooted fear of the unknown. With these exclusive stories, Amazon Music becomes a portal to a world where the line between reality and the supernatural dangerously blurs. The narrator leads each episode with a mastery that sparks both fear and curiosity, inviting listeners to suspend disbelief and dive headfirst into horror. There's an almost hypnotic connection that forms between the narrative and those listening, where the fear of being watched by something invisible feels increasingly real with each moment. These tales turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, where even a deserted road can hide mysterious apparitions and sinister rituals. For those seeking an intense experience, each exclusive episode becomes a challenge to one's limits. But beyond fright, these stories captivate, showing that horror goes beyond fear and taps into the natural human curiosity for the unexplained. It's not just about scaring people, but offering a type of entertainment that lingers, keeping the audience thinking for days about what they heard, as if each story leaves a mark that refuses to fade. It's content that grips attention and raises a troubling question. Does terror exist only in stories? Or does it also inhabit our everyday lives, hidden in seemingly innocent things? This connection between fiction and humanity's primal fears makes these episodes much more than simple entertainment. By the end of each story, listeners find themselves questioning whether the line between the real and the supernatural is as defined as we think. Each tale leaves a sense of distrust, a fear that the next turn on the road or strange noise might not just be in our imagination. In this way, Amazon Music becomes a place where horror comes to life, waiting only for the next listener willing to face their fears with his calm and enigmatic voice. Uriel Reyes invites the audience to open their minds and set aside skepticism. If only for a moment, he believes that paranormal experiences aren't just stories meant to frighten, but an essential part of a world many insist on ignoring. His words, almost hypnotic, spark curiosity and even distrust, leading listeners to reflect on apparitions and strange events that so many claim to have experienced. His goal, to provoke thought and suggest that reality might be far more mysterious than we assume. Throughout his narratives, Uriel shares episodes of skeptical people who, despite not believing, encountered something that defied all logic. For many, these encounters with the inexplicable are enough to change even the most firmly held beliefs. Each story pushes the boundaries of what's considered rational, involving deserted roads, apparitions in unexpected places, and legends that leave a deep mark. For him, horror isn't merely a form of entertainment, but a reminder that there is much beyond what we see and understand in daily life. Uriel also explores fear as an emotion that connects people, skeptics or not, in a shared experience of vulnerability and mystery. He points out that horror has the power to unite everyone, as even the most rational find themselves without answers in the face of the unknown. His episodes are designed to make each listener feel part of the narrative, sharing that tension of someone who has driven down a dark road and felt they were being watched. For him, the supernatural is a boundary we can all touch if we allow ourselves to experience and perhaps believe. The experiences Uriel shares are filled with symbolism and moments where logic seems to dissolve, leaving space for the unknown to take shape. For him, apparitions, inexplicable sounds, and enigmatic presences serve a vital purpose, reminding us of our fragility in the face of what we cannot control. These stories invite us to reflect on what we truly know and on the limits of human understanding. By approaching horror in an almost philosophical manner, Uriel goes beyond mere storytelling. He encourages us to reevaluate our own certainties. Finally, his approach raises an essential question. Are we truly alone in our experiences? Uriel seems to suggest that if there are so many reports and testimonies about the paranormal, perhaps it's time we consider that terror in some form accompanies us. The message is clear. The supernatural is not only for those who want to believe, but for anyone willing to open their mind and, in a way, see beyond, and who knows. At the next apparition, even the most skeptical may be surprised. While fishing off one of Costa Rica's quiet shores, a man found himself in an experience that challenged his understanding of reality. It was a normal day until disturbing screams began echoing along the shore. as if an invisible presence were calling out to him. The sound, a mixture of pain and despair, made him stop and look around, intrigued and alarmed. The calm waters surrounding the beach seemed to hide something far darker than the natural beauty of the place suggested. The tension in the air grew as he approached the source of the screams. Suddenly, a ghostly silhouette appeared in the distance, holding something wrapped in a yellow blanket. The man froze, his doubts and skepticism quickly dissolving in the face of that terrifying sight. It looked like a woman, or at least it seemed so. Her face was covered by shadow, but her eyes shone with an intensity that could not be ignored. He was in shock, unable to move, as the figure approached slowly as if being pulled by a dark destiny. What he saw next became a nightmare he would never forget. The woman drew closer, revealing a look of deep sadness and despair. The blanket she held seemed to writhe, as if something inside it was squirming. With his heart racing, the fisherman realized he was not merely facing a haunting. He was in front of an untold story, an echo of a tragic past still hovering over that coast. Terror gripped him, yet there was an almost irresistible curiosity to understand what had happened. The legends of Costa Rica have always been filled with stories of apparitions and supernatural events, but nothing could have prepared him for that encounter. Stories of others who had similar experiences began to flood his mind, like an endless list of warnings about the entities that roam roads and beaches. This apparition, part of the local folklore, now became part of his own story, and the reality of what was considered merely legend now seemed to unfold before him. The screams he heard were a plea, a call for help from someone still trapped between worlds. As the figure vanished into the mist of the coast, the man was left deep in thought about what he had witnessed. He realized that the moment would change his life forever, leaving him with an inexplicable connection to a deeper mystery. Questions about what was real and what was fiction began to merge in his mind, and he knew that the terror of that experience would always stay with him. Costa Rica's coast, now marked by this apparition, would become a place of reflection and doubt, where the supernatural and mundane coexist in an eternal dance. On a silent night, a father and son decided to hit the road in search of adventure. The setting seemed calm, but as they moved away from the city lights, a strange feeling began to fill the air. The deserted roads, in their solitude, revealed a sinister beauty, as if each bend concealed dark secrets and haunting legends. As they moved forward, unusual sounds began to emerge, breaking the night's silence and sparking both curiosity and fear in them. The son, young and full of imagination, began questioning the noises echoing around the car. "What was that, Dad?" he asked, his eyes wide with both fear and excitement. The father, trying to stay calm, looked out the window, but nothing seemed out of place. However, the tension grew as the sounds became more frequent, as if something were following them in the darkness. A shadow moved quickly along the roadside, causing the boy's heart to race and the father's breathing to quicken. Over time, strange floating lights began to appear among the trees, almost as if they were playing hide-and-seek. These lights, flickering and floating, fueled the boy's imagination, who spun tales of mystical creatures and entities from beyond. But as they continued, the atmosphere grew heavier, and the feeling that they were being watched became almost palpable. Terror filled the car, and the father felt powerless in the face of his son's growing unease. Then, in a moment of tense silence, a ghostly figure appeared by the roadside, almost imperceptible. The father stopped the car, fear pulsing through his veins. The boy screamed, not just in fright but also in fascination. The sight of a woman cloaked in an eerie, ethereal aura stood before them, like a legend that had come to life. Her presence was a blend of beauty and horror, provoking conflicting emotions in both. The tales they'd heard about apparitions had become real, challenging their beliefs and sparking insatiable curiosity. The father, torn between protecting his son and investigating, finally decided it was time to leave. As he drove away, the feeling that this deserted road held deep secrets lingered. They hadn't just found a horror story. They had lived an experience that would forever alter their perspectives on the supernatural. As the road stretched out before them, questions about what truly happened that night would haunt them. A constant reminder that some legends are closer to reality than we'd like to believe. On a winding, isolated road, A driver found himself in a supernatural encounter that defied all logic as night fell. A strange presence began to manifest in the shadows beside the track. The darkness seemed to come alive, and the driver, already skeptical of the supernatural, soon found himself questioning his own beliefs. Something was approaching, a large, grotesque silhouette that made his heart pound and adrenaline surge. Terror was about to become real when the creature finally emerged from the shadows. The sight was terrifying, a beast-like entity with eyes that glowed like two red flames. It approached slowly, and the driver, paralyzed by fear, didn't know whether to speed away or exit the car. The instinct for survival fought against the curiosity to understand what that apparition was. It was a legend come to life, a nightmare leaping from the pages of a horror tale. Now standing right there before him, tales of encounters with supernatural creatures have always been popular among those who cross deserted roads. But no one was truly prepared for what he was experiencing. The sense of being watched was palpable. As if the night itself were waiting for a misstep, the driver recalled childhood stories about terrifying creatures said to guard ancient secrets and felt a chill down his spine. He wondered if there was a greater meaning in it all, or if it was merely chance that had brought him to this point. The creature, despite its menacing appearance, seemed just as intrigued as he was. Those moments when their eyes met felt endless, defying time and space. Deep down, a question bothered the driver. What did that beast really want? Was it a warning, a show of power, or simply a manifestation of the terror we all carry within? This silent connection between them turned panic into a new perspective, where the unknown became less terrifying and more intriguing. Finally, the beast took a step back. Seemingly satisfied with the tension it had created, the driver took a deep breath and accelerated, leaving. But the image of that creature remained etched in his mind. The fear he had now blended with curiosity, leading him to reflect on the fine line between reality and legend. The road, once ordinary, was now a space of mystery and terror, where each bend could hide not only shadows, but also secrets from other dimensions. As he left the road, he knew that something inside him had changed forever. In a small town near an old cemetery, a young boy found himself drawn to a mystery hanging over the All Saints' Day festivities. During the celebrations, whispering voices and laughter echoed among the tombstones, as if strange figures were performing secret rituals under the moonlight. Curious and intrigued, the boy decided to investigate, driven by the mix of fear and excitement that the atmosphere provided. Terror and fascination intertwined, turning the night into a supernatural adventure. As he approached the cemetery, he noticed the presence of shadows dancing among the graves, as if engaged in an ancient ritual. The figures, cloaked in dark robes, moved with eerie grace, their indistinct forms creating a sense of discomfort. The boy stood still, unsure if he should go forward or turn back. The legends of apparitions and dark rituals he'd heard since childhood seemed to come to life before his eyes. Each breath was accompanied by a chill, a sign that he was about to cross the boundary between the known world and the unknown. The murmurs and chants from the figures reverberated in the air, echoing like a dark melody that seemed to call to him. He was hypnotized, almost as if those voices were promising revelations about long-buried secrets. The rituals, which he had thought of only as legends, now appeared alive and pulsating before his reality. The initial fear began to dissipate, giving way to an irresistible curiosity. What were these figures doing? What mysteries did they guard? As the boy got closer, he realized they weren't just shadows. There was something profoundly human in the expressions of these figures, as if pain and joy intertwined in an eternal dance. It was a reminder that terror and beauty coexist in our understanding of the world. The rituals weren't merely about fear, but also about connecting with what was lost, a tribute to those who had passed. The atmosphere, filled with meaning, made him reconsider his relationship with death and the afterlife. With his heart racing, the boy decided it was time to leave, taking with him the images of the night and the lessons he had learned. The cemetery, once a place of terror in his mind, now became a space of reflection and reverence. The legends about mysterious figures and rituals were not just stories to scare, but echoes of a past still living among them. He knew that as he left that night, something inside him had changed, and his curiosity for the unknown would accompany him on all his future journeys. Once, a man, accustomed to the monotony of life, had a supernatural encounter that transformed his perspective unexpectedly. On a rainy night, he found himself trapped in a moment of despair when everything seemed to crumble around him. The roads were slippery, and the fear of an accident hung over him like a shadow. Yet, amid all that darkness, a light shone intensely like a beacon of hope, leading him to question the nature of what he was about to experience. As he approached the light, something magical happened. A familiar figure, a longtime friend who had passed away years before, appeared before him. The man froze, unable to comprehend how it was possible. It was an apparition that defied logic and reason, but there was an inexplicable calm in the presence of that entity. The friend began to convey a message of comfort, encouraging him to move forward and not give up, despite the challenges life imposed. Terror and uncertainty turned into hope as the man listened to words that seemed to resonate from within his heart. That supernatural intervention wasn't just a vision, but a transformative experience that made him rethink his priorities and view of life. The encounter became a turning point, leading him to recognize that the legends of apparitions and supernatural experiences could, in fact, be real. It was as if the barrier between the worlds of the living and the dead was thinner than we imagined. He left the road that night not only relieved, but with a new understanding of what it means to live fully. After this experience, the man became an advocate for the idea that supernatural interventions are often messages of love and support. He began to share his story with others, inspiring those who felt lost and hopeless. The connection he had with his departed friend made him realize that love transcends even death, and that the experiences many dismiss as mere legends may, in fact, hold profound truths about life and death. The terror he had once felt turned into a feeling of gratitude and reverence. Now, he stands as a living example that the supernatural can have a real impact on our lives, altering the course of our stories. By sharing his story, he encourages everyone to open their minds and hearts to the possibility that, amid terror and uncertainty, there is always a light ready to guide them. What was once a simple journey turned into a path of self-discovery and transformation, where reality and legend intertwine into a rich tapestry of experiences that we all, at some point, might encounter. With all these intriguing stories and supernatural experiences shared, Uriel Reyes extends a special invitation to all fans of horror and the unknown. He invites you to join the ever-growing horror community, a place where every account of apparitions, strange encounters, and local legends finds a home. It's a call for those seeking to understand what hides in the shadows, for those wishing to share their own stories and experiences. After all, we all have a horror story within us, waiting to be told. In this space, curiosity is celebrated and fear is challenged. Uriel commits to keeping the community informed about new projects, book releases, and events that explore the fascinating world of the supernatural. It's an opportunity to connect with others who share the same passion, where every story and experience can enrich our understanding of what's truly possible. As you delve into this universe, you might discover that what seemed like just a legend may, in fact, have roots in real experiences. The frequent updates and engaging discussions promise to keep everyone informed and entertained. Feeding curiosity and passion for horror, Uriel encourages everyone to engage, comment, and share their stories, for each person has something valuable to contribute. The open dialogue about the supernatural and terrifying experiences helps create a vibrant community where fear transforms into empathy and understanding. By telling your stories, you become part of this tapestry of human experiences that shape our perception of the unknown. Future events promise to be exciting, bringing special guests, interviews, and even live sessions where community members can share their first-hand experiences. Imagine being in a place where horror stories are not only heard but felt. The connection between community members will reflect the shared experiences, and together, everyone can explore the fascinating world of apparitions and mysteries surrounding horror legends. So don't miss out. Join Uriel and the horror community, where stories that defy logic become a part of your life. Here, you'll find a home for your passions and the chance to explore the unknown in a unique and thrilling way. And who knows, you might be the next to share a story that leaves everyone in suspense, reminding them that in the world of horror, there is always more than meets the eye.